From showing you how to build out a phased approach to incorporating AI into your business to creating your own custom assistant, we've covered a lot of hot topics in our AI segment on Expert Connections. Today, a special highlights reel to showcase some of our key experts, including ChatGPT itself. I'm Julie Holton-Smith in AI avatar form. Bringing you this special episode, Expert Connections starts now.
When my relatives start talking about it at regular dinners, or friends start talking about it who aren't in technology, now it's mainstream, right? And so if you think about over the last couple of years with I'll say mainstream AI, we had a decision to make, and we just said we're going to be on the front end of that.
Everyone is talking about AI. Not everyone loves it, especially as you're talking about small business owners. I mean, talk about another complication, especially if their business is not necessarily in the technology space, but obviously uses technology as a tool. What is New Wave's approach to AI?
We've had a mantra at New Wave for years. We've always said we're going to be bleeding edge to keep our clients leading edge. It's just something we've always said. When it comes to AI, there's only going to be two companies that really exist: those that are embracing AI and those that will either be put out of business or bought by the companies that embraced AI. And that's a pretty bold statement to make, right? And I know a lot of business owners, a lot of business leaders who disagree with me on this. And then I tell them, and Julie, I'm sure you've read this book, Mo Gauda. He's the former, the chief business officer, or was, for Google X. He's got a book, Scary Smart. And I believe that maybe it's not completely the realistic glimpse into the future, but I think there's a lot of truth. When being in this now for the last couple of years and seeing where things are going, I challenge anybody that says that AI isn't going to just fundamentally change not only the business world, but it's going to change all of our lives.
If you are a business owner or entrepreneur and you are not using AI to help your business grow, then experts say you are already behind your competition.
Everybody should be investigating in different ways to either make themselves or their team more productive in terms of communication and workflow. And I think the one that's going to create and transform industries are people that find ways to develop AI for their business for a competitive advantage.
We've done a lot of use cases on the show, a lot of demos. Let's talk high level, because one term that gets thrown around a lot, Jesse, for business owners, especially maybe small, mid-sized business owners, is this idea of practical applications of AI. I don't know about you, but the word practical always gets me, because I feel like anything we talk about should be practical. Otherwise, we should be talking about it.
Yeah.
So when it comes to AI and businesses, what the heck does that word practical mean? What are we talking about when it comes to those types of uses for businesses?
Yeah, for me, I think it's about utility and execution. So there's a lot of ways in which AI is a novelty for a lot of people. And my daughter uses it for all sorts of fun little things, sometimes even to help her with her homework, right? And it's cute and it's fun and it's interesting. But for me, when I think about practical, I think about how you work this into your business processes, operations, culture in some cases, in order to help yourself get better, to get your cost structure down, to increase sales, any number of things. So for me, when I think about practical, that's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about things that move the needle on the income statement or the balance sheet as far as productivity or, revenue or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Because in some cases, some of us, myself included, might be dreaming big about ways that AI can create new things for us, new products, new service lines. That's awesome. But when we're talking about practical uses, it might be more like what I'm hearing you say, taking your current workflow, for instance, and determining how AI can improve that workflow and make it better. So can you give us an example, maybe a real life use case that you're seeing or you're using right now with your team that you're already seeing improvements from?
Yeah. So there are several. We have several different ways in which we're using these. And in general, when I'm talking to people about this, I think there's actually sort of a process and an evolution, what we call our AI growth map, that we would sort of walk someone through based on where they are in the life cycle, both of their business and of their understanding of AI. One of the tenets of that is you should always kind of start small, especially if you don't know much about this, right? So at the very, very beginning, you might be using AI as a novelty. And maybe what you're doing at that point is you're using like an off-the-shelf tool like Midjourney or ChatGPT or Dolly or something to help you write emails, right? But as you start to evolve both your skill set and depending on the size of your organization, AI starts to evolve from being a novelty to maybe being a collaborator to being worked into your infrastructure to ultimately becoming some form of disruptor or brand new sort of innovation, right? That's really the last thing is an AI as an innovator. So for us internally, for instance, we, like everybody else, a year ago when ChatGPT was made available to the public, we're using ChatGPT as a novelty to help us with things like maybe writing a difficult email to a customer. And at that time, that was a practical use case. But that evolved eventually into something where, gosh, one of the things that we have an issue with from time to time is customers email us lists of things that need to get done. And they write these long emails. And I don't know about you, but our team wasn't always great at reading all the details of the email. And so one of the things that we did is we started to say, well, let's have AI start to review every email that comes into our CRM, do a quick summary, make a to-do list, and put it there for the developer who's now working on it to see, okay, this email, this account, I need to do these couple of things. That's already translated into a really simple checklist. Again, practical use case there for us to make sure that we're delivering at the level that we expect to deliver, and AI is helping to facilitate that kind of transaction. And then we've just started to kind of grow our relationship with AI from there.
I hear of folks, content creators, designers, graphic designers who are a little unsure, maybe a lot unsure of AI and all of the changes that it will bring. You are someone who is just really grabbing this whole idea and embracing it, which is what I think marketers should be doing. So tell us, what is your philosophy? What is your approach on AI?
I would say that there's a lot of marketers out there that are nervous and that have questions. One of my favorite quotes is, AI is not going to replace you, but smart people who know how to use it will. And I like that. And I think that's the attitude that you have to take here with AI is a little bit in the realm of that, also the Moneyball quote. I don't know why I'm all quote heavy all of a sudden, but in Moneyball, I just remember Brad Pitt looking around the room saying, adapt or die. And it really is true. We look at this technology and the adoption of AI. It's the fastest adopted technology in the history of mankind. And so for those of us that are a little bit of the doomsday people that are so scared that it's going to reach singularity and it's going to kill us all, like I've heard all of the doomsday scenarios, and I've just got to say, if that's the case, it's out of your control. There's nothing you as an individual can do. To be clear, I don't believe that that's going to happen. I don't believe that AI is going to kill us all. But that is like the worst case scenario. Here, my opinion is, if this is the fastest adopted technology in the history of mankind, it sure seems like something you're going to want to be on the front end of instead of just letting it happen to you as a marketer. And so for me, when I looked at AI and the adoption that's happening, I actually scheduled several meetings with my organization, and we said, okay, how do we figure this out? How do we problem solve? How do we look at what's going on and make sure that we're staying on the front end of it? And I'll be honest, I had some people in my organization who were very, very resistant to the idea of using AI at all. And those people actually have gotten frustrated and have left our organization. But again, I just don't think that, especially as an advertising agency, and there's lots of other agencies out there that people could hire, if we decide just because the way we've always done something is the way that we need to continue to do it, we are not going to be one of the people that are successful with this. And one of the things that I look at in just business in general is, when you are an early adopter, there's a lot of risk that comes along with it. But I would say the risk compared to the reward is different enough where it's worth it. If you take a risk and try something and it fails, maybe you lose a little bit of investment or something like that. But if you're an early adopter and you win, the results could be amazing.
We have an exciting show today with a bit of a twist, right, ChatGPT?
That's right, Julie. Today, we're diving into the world of AI. Our expert guest will show us how to create a custom GPT. We'll cover everything from the basics to fine-tuning your own model. Whether you're into tech or looking to bring AI into your business, you're in for some valuable tips.
Who couldn't use an assistant? Pretty much everyone, whether you're in business, whether you're a mom, you're a dad. But what if that assistant cost only $20 a month? I have seen pieces of your demo before, Scott, and every time I learn something new. So I am excited to share with our viewers how we can create a custom GPT for any aspect of life, whether this is, you need an assistant at work or your assistant needs an assistant. I have an assistant, but she could use an assistant. And for those who feel like they can't delegate because it's better when they just do it themselves, what if you could do it more efficiently with ChatGPT?
So, this is something that I've been cooking up for a while, right? I'm big into personal fitness and kind of just, how do I maximize my gains, right? Gains with an S, not a Z, no bro science here. Really wanting to just, to beat some peaks and valleys. I love to go lift, and I was just finding a lot of trouble, meeting a certain, goal, right? So one day I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to try to put some of my training data into ChatGPT and see if I can't, finally beat that. And what amazed me was not only I was able to do that, but the quickness of it, the actual implementation, and the results. And every time I feel like I put something into ChatGPT, it gets smarter, it learns what I'm saying, and it ultimately helps get to my goals pretty quickly. So today we're going to show a personal gym assistant. But as we go through this, I want everyone to keep in mind that this can be for anything, right? Like, while I love physical fitness, I'm also a new dad, right? And so obviously with being a new dad, there's a ton of things that I don't know. So let's say I wanted to build like a super dad app, right? Or a GPT, so that I can ask it questions on when to bottle feed my newborn, right? Or how do I be a better partner? Or how do I react in certain situations, right? So think of it, custom GPTs as like your coach, and you're a personal assistant that you need to talk to in order to get something up quick and fast. And one thing I want everyone to keep in mind as I talk through this, the whole purpose of this is to do this for those that aren't as technology inclined. You can either be a complete beginner, or you can be somebody that, could be joining OpenAI, being a program and whatnot, right? The whole point and the whole purpose of the GPT program is to let everyday people like you and me build these things and help optimize our life.
Business owners have heard all the hype behind using AI tools. It'll make you more productive, more profitable, make your teams more efficient. But behind that hype, you actually have to get your teams on board. You have to get them on board with using the tools and then actually integrating them into your system. So the big question, how and where do you start?
Julie, AI is a fantastic tool, and it can absolutely help every business owner out there. But what's really going to help is having everybody on their team using it. If you've got 10 people or 30 people, you're only one person. Having all 10 of those people, using AI, can you get a 10% bump out of them? Can you get a 300% bump out of their productivity? That's what we're talking about here with AI, huge bumps in productivity without adding any headcount. And that's amazing.
First question, where do we start?
Yeah, I think that's the number one thing, is getting started. And whether you're an individual contributor or a manager or the owner or executive of a company, AI can help at all those levels. And Julie, like you said, the first thing in starting is getting familiarity with it. So if you're an individual contributor, just go out right now and start using it. I recommend, if you've got $20 to spare, buy the Pro ChatGPT version. If you don't, use the free one or ask your company to pay for it. But that's number one, is the most important thing in your self-organization or team is to start using the tool. Because the hammer can do everything, right? When you got a hammer, everything looks like a nail. But if you've never used a hammer, you don't know all of the amazing things that hammer or duct tape or ChatGPT can do for your organization. So the number one most important tip is to get people using it.
This is just the tip of the iceberg with all the AI experts we've highlighted on Expert Connections. Subscribe right now to stay connected when new videos drop every week. That does it for this special highlights reel. I'm Julie Holton-Smith, the AI avatar version. Join me and the real-life Julie over in the next video.